It's driving me so. No since I met you, I'll never be happy again.
There's lots of things I want to do in Japan, so my focus is my day life in Japan.
That wasn't real. It doesn't have. You don't have to end with that question. You can end with, what did I learn from that?
I just really wanted to leave things as they were. So, I mean, there's so many sedimentary layers in these representations.
Documentary film has anything to do with truth in the most banal meaning of the word, for me, is pure baloney, right? It's not, for me, it's nothing to do with truth. It's my POV on the world seen from within me.
The subject matter is, we're being taught how to attend a public hearing. The people at the public hearing are being taught how to attend a public hearing, and it's just this like constant back and forth. Teaching is what it's about.
Something happened in my brain where I was like, life is art.
It's like a Larry Gottheim film. It's a ghost looking at things through the mist. So I'm interested in this, surfaces and textures and all that.
Just maybe you can tell us why we're here and why this film and premiere happened.
Being a diarist, I hate everything, so I will just set up here.
Do you want someone to
hold it? You want me to hold it?
Yes.
He knows how to film.
It's going?
Yes, right.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you want to know? And first, now only there are a few spots that still do make an impression. We came totally impersonal, huge impersonal buildings with people sponsored, built by the city for the people.
That song.
Song?
How about a song?
Yeah.
Let's get it going.
Nobody sings anymore. Nobody sings anymore. Nobody sings anymore. Nobody sings anymore. Yes, we listen to the old thing that we don't sing. My friend, don't sing anymore. My friend, don't sing anymore. Oh, my friend, don't sing anymore. My friend, don't sing anymore. Oh, 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 my friend. Don't sing anymore. Oh, my friend, 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 don't sing anymore. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Very interesting also how you were able to show greatly what you're doing. And I think this is very important for venues.
Just maybe you can start.
to be able to show and to have proper material about what they're doing or the other, just to communicate about it.
Thanks. Yeah, as a media arts center, that's something we try to place a premium on, kind of documentation of what we're doing, and helps with grants and stuff like this. And we could certainly do it better and have a big archive of conversations and stuff, but we try. Thank you.
Okay. I have some questions, but maybe we'll go directly to Paolo, and then some of the questions.
I'm sorry, yeah, can we plug it again? This is not an ad for Apple Computer. I don't need sound.
Definitivamente no es una publicidad para las computadoras. Mac.
Bum, bum, bum. Thank you so much. So are people talking too fast? How's the English for the audience? Should we slow down a bit, or is it okay the way people have been talking? Yeah. So cool, I'm gonna get started. I kind of feel like this last presentation we're gonna be like maybe the crazy hippies that were invited to the party. In the sense that we run a real community center where everything is very street level. And I've been impressed by everything happening here, but I think we're taking it to a very grassroots center. We are in the city of Los Angeles, which is all about filmmaking, but at the same time, not at all about filmmaking. It's about the after parties and the limousines and the famous people, right? So our place is kind of a reaction to everything that LA is. So we do 5 things, and it's easy because you have 5 fingers on your hand, so we can talk about them. Where we do free education. We've been there for 13 years, so we do free classes for youth, free classes for seniors or abuelitos, and also marginalized communities. So we've worked with gang members, ex-prostitutes, battered women's shelters, people that don't have a voice. We provide a voice. We give them the tools to tell their voice. So we also offer low-cost classes for adults. So $20, $30, you want to learn to edit, maybe you sell fruit or, on the side of the road, or you run a store. If you want to tell your story, then we provide that access. So the huge thing is access, right? Education, getting people in. We're also a cinema, so we show films from all over the world on Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. It's community programs, so anyone can say, I have an idea, I want to show these films. Some nights it's standing room only, some nights there's crickets playing their little violins, but that's the joy and the sorrow of running a community cinema. But we're also a film co-op, so you can borrow anything, cameras, light kits, tripods, always free for young and old, and these kind of marginalized people that we talked about. And then other people pay a few dollars, once again, all about the access. So the 4th and 5th thing we do, which to me have become the most exciting, is we're hosting an international residency program where we invite artists from all over the world to come to LA, and we also send artists from our center to different parts of the world. Elena Pardo, who maybe stepped up for a phone call, is one of my favorite people on earth and was an artist in residence at our space. She's a Mexican filmmaker in 2009. And then the last thing, we're going to shift to pictures now. And there's no sound in these things. I'm just going to let the images wash over you like a lovely blanket or a sweet kiss, however you want to do it. But the last thing is we bought an old school bus and we gutted the school bus. And we travel all over North America. This is the hippie part, maybe. And we live in the bus. And we show films for free under the stars. We teach free classes. We've driven through Mexico. We've driven all through Canada. We went to New York City and back. And to me, that's the greatest joy, this itinerant notion of cinema that was prevalent in the 20s and 30s that I know Ambulante is trying to do it and doing it well. But this is, we're also teaching and we're living in the bus and we're driving all over. So let's watch some images now, and then I will talk for a few more minutes. So hold on. Okay, so we'll go fast. This is our physical storefront, and it's important because it's in a working class neighborhood on 2 bus lines, so people can easily get to the space, right? There we are again. That's me much younger. But La Familia is the nickname. I'm from Italy originally. The film center was started from a place of tremendous sorrow and has grown to be a place of tremendous joy. My parents were both community activists that died when I was very young, and to honor their legacy of giving, I wanted to open a place that celebrated the joys in my life, which were filmmaking, education, and community activism. So their spirit, La Familia, still lives and breathes at the film center. Look, we're just going to let this wash over you fast. So some expanded cinema events. There you are. It's only 900 square feet. It's tiny. It's like the size of your mom's kitchen. But we do a lot of stuff. We do live music, spoken word. This is the only event we ever did with the lights on. The Viewmaster little toy when you were a kid. So we did it. We kept the lights on because you had to look at the ceiling. That's a good representation of our audience. People all ages, classes, backgrounds. This is the Gay and Lesbian Film Festival. So we do events off-site too if people invite us. This is a quinceañera for one of our young students. Sometimes we have parties to raise money, so it's a disco party. So this is our staff. The reason I love this picture is that is the love of my life, Lisa Marr, the one I'm embracing. We met on the opening day. She was a punk rock musician. I was a punk rock filmmaker. And we fell in love, and now we play in a band together, travel the world together. She should be sitting right here, but she's sadly running the space. And then behind us are all former students that have gone through the program. So not only do we provide education, but we provide jobs to people in the community that now they work at the space. We have so this is the co-op part. We have books for rent, DVDs. That's Tattoo, who's now deceased, who is Naomi Uman's dog. People know her. She's a prolific American filmmaker, but spends a lot of her time in Mexico City. But there he is, so beautiful. That's Charmaine Starks, single mother of 4 children who volunteers and works at the center and is an amazing filmmaker. That's me with a lot more hair trying to sell things, to raise money to pay the rent. So some days you're selling your tires from your car, but what are you going to do? So there's some classes, people from the community, more classes. So we love filmmaking. David alluded to the physicality of film. You know, people talk about the media revolution. You can upload a phone in 2 seconds. You know, upload a film in 2 seconds off your phone. That's wonderful, but still, the physicality, slowing down, touching film, feeling film. So we do probably most of our projects on motion picture film. We're doing a workshop with some kids later this week in Mexico City where we're going to be shooting Super 8 and then processing the film using coffee and vitamin C, using natural processes, and then we're going to project it. So I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, well, actually, that workshop's Saturday, but we're going to visit one of the fados tomorrow where they're showing work. So once again, these are the senior citizens, right? Get your grandparents out there. Kids from the neighborhood. It was easy to start because I was a teacher. I taught at a university and I also taught in a kindergarten. So when I first opened the school, I just went to all my little kids and said, we're going to teach you how to make movies. So we don't make narrative films, really. We make documentaries and experimental cinema because the whole world makes narrative films, so we want to show people other ways to make films. But sometimes the kids yell at you and say, we want to make a narrative film. So we made like a dramatic recreation of Cleopatra. A documentary about the LA River, puppet shows. And we did a musical too. And back to Naomi Uman, who's a dear friend and a woman I love. She came up to me and said, Paolo, that film is unwatchable. Meaning it was the worst film she'd ever seen, but that makes it beautiful too, right? So that film is unwatchable. Moving along, a lot of film stuff. We're almost done, folks. So I want to show pictures of the Cinebus. That's the best part. This gentleman passed away recently, but he was one of the last living pianists from the silent film era. And we made a silent movie, and he scored it just live. You know, here it is. He hadn't seen the film, just said, go, and just started playing. It was beautiful. This is the Artist in Residency program. I embarrassed Elena. You were outside, but I praised you because you were one of our residents. This is another resident from Germany. So now the international part, we've been invited to, around the world to, not that we're trying to spread our models the best, but we're excited about youth media, getting people involved. So we're starting to be invited to the different parts of the world to share these kind of resources and ideas. This is in Mexico and Ensenada with the Filmmobile. So with schools, where's the bus? There's the love of my life, and we're much younger and more beautiful, but now we're much older and less beautiful. So there's the Cinebus. I say Cinebus because that's the license plate we got. Personalized license plate, right? Isn't that great? So there we are, playing music, singing songs. And so we reappropriate public space. So we take over sidewalks, city streets. We told people, why go in and pay money to rent a Hollywood movie when you can sit on this asphalt and watch free movies with us, right? So kind of asking people to re-examine where they are, taking over a site, like someone's yard here, I guess we were somewhere. Under the LA River. This is showing the exiles, if you haven't seen it, one of the greatest films to come out of Los Angeles, on Bunker Hill. This is great, the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You see those stars? At this one, the police came right at the end with their sirens and went, woo! And we had to leave, but we watched the whole film. Because we never get permits. We just do this illegally wherever we go. We just show up and show our movies. So this is with DJs, Dub Lab, in the parking lot of a grocery store, teaching some workshops. So, I mean, it sounds like we're here bragging, maybe Steve and I are boasting about our good deeds. I think what's more interesting is how you can replicate these models in different parts of the world. So, can this be done in Mexico? I know the Fados got me very excited what people are doing in those spaces. So, can you add like a real cinema component, film component? And my kids thank you. So, thanks everybody.
Thanks a lot, Steve. And Paulo, sorry. You said that the Ecofilm Park was created as a reaction to what was the common image of Hollywood and Los Angeles. Did you also felt that there was like some need for what you've been doing, or you just made it because you felt like it?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I had worked in the film industry for years, and it's not a gentle place. It's not a place full of love. There are gentle people in it, but largely it's about hierarchy and about who's in control, these sort of things. So I wanted a place that was totally egalitarian. So that was a reaction to it. And I had also grown up playing in punk bands and this kind of DIY spirit where, you know, someone comes to town, they sleep on your couch, you give them a 6-pack of beer and you feed them. This sort of energy that we replicated with the film center, right? Touring artists, they could stay at my house, this sort of thing. So a little bit of both. And there was a need. There's always been amazing, as David alluded to, like alternative film scenes in LA. And there's always been great youth programs. And I think there's been some co-ops, but I think we're the first model that it does all three and does it well. So.
And, I had a question for both of you, actually, that will probably lead us to what Monica has to say. Both of your projects are in New York and Los Angeles, two of the biggest cities in the US, with a vivid cultural scene. Do you feel like this could happen anywhere else in the US?
I mean, I think we're successful in a lot of ways because we are the antithesis to what people perceive in the town. Like every day people walk in and say, my grandfather used to make movies, do you want this camera? Or I found these film prints in my garage, do you want these film prints, right? So if we were like in Des Moines, Iowa, right, maybe we wouldn't have the same luck. But I think every city, every community needs a community arts center, a media arts center. And with the technology today, it can thrive. And sometimes even more, like little towns, when we go on tour, the whole town comes to the screening. Like people are bringing us gifts and food and like, you're in our town, you know? But sometimes in LA, like people are too cool or there's too much going on. It's hard to put people in seats, you know? It really is, but.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think that, you know, it is happening all over, you know, in you know, most major cities on different levels, and there's great like micro cinemas and alternative education models and community activism, you know, centers. You know, with New York and Los Angeles, you know, I think you think about audience and you think about funding and you think about, you know, artists and people that are going to be there to present, which is, you know, part of what we like when we turn off the lights and are experiencing something as a community. And then, you know, you talk about it, you know, hopefully with the person that, or people that were involved with making it in some capacity. So you get to do that quite a bit. But you know, certainly in, you know, Portland and Austin and, you know, from Minnesota, you know, there's great stuff going on everywhere. There probably could be a little bit more communication and resource sharing and understanding of different models, which I think we could all get better at. And it's great to be together here and feel like Dr. Park's certainly cousin or big brother, or however you want to see it, to Union Docs, and we've been fortunate to host the Cinebus, and they've reciprocated and hosted programs of ours, and try to hear from Monica in a second, but we're all part of the same kind of global art ecosystem, and it's good to be good neighbors and communicators. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot. So yeah, actually, Mónica nos va a platicar de tal vez un trabajo en ciertos modos similares, pero en comunidades más chiquitas, digamos.
Sí, de este lado del río. Bueno, muchísimas gracias por la invitación a este seminario. Me tocó hablar hasta el final, y eso me ha permitido también escuchar a todos. Realmente ha sido muy intenso. Creo que tenemos de aquí en adelante mucho que reflexionar de todo lo que hemos oído aquí. Espero aportar algo también valioso para todos. Vengo desde Sonora, que es la frontera noroeste mexicana. Estamos en frontera con Arizona. Es un estado desértico. Yo te pediría que, Charlotte, pudieras volver atrás, porque hay una foto que trae aquí, pero no se ve. Nosotros vivimos más o menos a 45 grados promedio de temperatura en este desierto de Sonora, y hay una gran avidez por trabajar en el cine. Si quieres, avanzamos. Desde para atrás, ¿puedes volver, Charlotte? Hemos creado en Sonora un programa llamado Visiones en el Desierto desde la Instituto Sonorense de Cultura. Sin embargo, esta necesidad que se vio reflejada, digamos, como solución a partir de una solución institucional, fue creada desde hace muchísimo tiempo y es producto de un trabajo de diagnóstico de qué es lo que estaba ocurriendo en Sonora con el cine. Yo hace 30 y pico de años que llegué a Sonora, y mi primera acción, digamos, fue la creación de un cineclub llamado Cinecentro, en un edificio que hoy vuelve a tomar importancia desde el punto de vista cinematográfico para Sonora. Al rato lo comento. Desde entonces yo fundé 6 cineclubes en el estado, pero sentía que era una labor un poco de una oferta que era retribuida indudablemente por la respuesta del público interesado por el buen cine, pero que había un poco de desconexión con el resto de la gente que estaba trabajando con cine o que pretendía realizar cine. Entonces, en 2008 tuve la oportunidad de encontrarme con gente que regresaba a Sonora después de capacitarse fuera del estado, porque en Sonora no existen escuelas de cine. Bueno, estamos un poco adelantados con las diapositivas, volvemos para atrás. A partir de esta reunión con la comunidad o la gente joven que regresaba a Sonora para ahora poner en práctica lo que había estudiado en México, en Nueva York, en Los Ángeles, esta comunidad comienza a hacer fuerza y a la vez, en paralelo, comienzan a generarse también cineclubes en el resto del estado. Esto hace la necesidad o genera la necesidad de crear un programa que abarcara esta cadena de la que hemos estado hablando. Por un lado, tener en cuenta a los creadores. Por otro lado, comenzar a trabajar con aquellos que exhibían cine, o llegar al punto de la exhibición. Entonces, por un lado, creamos la red sonorense o la red de cineclubes de Sonora, formada hoy por 40 cineclubes. Vamos a hablar un ratito de eso. A partir de un cineclub centro, el Cine de la Casa, que es el cineclub que yo dirijo, en formación, un poco replicando esta necesidad por la ausencia de escuelas de cine en Sonora, nos dimos a la tarea desde la institución, que por fin entendió que existía una comunidad y que existía esta disciplina o esta el lenguaje del arte también, además del teatro, la danza, la música, porque no era visible desde la institución. Creamos entonces un programa de capacitación llamado Visiones en el Desierto, donde durante 3 años hemos estado ofreciendo diplomados para la realización de documentales, además de 15 talleres en estos 3 años para la formación en los terrenos de la ficción, de la animación. Hemos formado más de 250 alumnos con el apoyo de 25 cineastas instructores. Dentro de la promoción, tratando de cerrar este círculo o esta cadena de la que hemos estado hablando en este seminario, realizamos una colección de estos documentales realizados en los diplomados y hemos hecho alguna gira por por algunos estados del país, llevando una selección de estos 12 documentales realizados en 3 años por la comunidad de manera independiente y con absoluta libertad de expresión. Bueno, ahora sí, Charlotte, perdón. Bueno, quiero dar rápidamente una relación de lo que es la red, específicamente la red de cineclubes de Sonora. Podemos avanzar. Esta red se crea en 2011, después de trabajar en la capacitación, reuniendo a la gente que tenía actividades cineclub, algunos de manera muy informal, sin menospreciar la actividad de ellos, en una casa, reuniendo a la gente del barrio, proyectando películas que hablaban de ciertos asuntos que podían interesar al barrio, hasta cineclubes que tenían de 15 a 20 años de antigüedad en su actividad dentro de las universidades o de las instituciones públicas. Entonces, recordarán mucho a Patricia Zavala, formadora y importante en la realización de los foros internacionales de cineclubes que nos reunieron a nivel nacional desde 2011. Patricia Zavala detecta nuestra red y tuvimos la suerte de inaugurar esta red en 2011 con su presencia cuando representaba a la Cineteca Nacional. En esa